My stepsister lied about pitching in for wedding expenses. Now everything's ruined.
Stop ruining stuff, sis.
Don't do it. Hi all. My female 35 mother married my stepdad when I was 17. He had a daughter from a previous marriage, Ellie, female 29. We were never close because when they moved in with us, Ellie was super clingy and would always follow me around and basically stalked me in my own home.
Gross.
Can your like sisters and stepsisters, is it stalking?
Stalking? I mean, yeah,
following you around.
I think it would be more like imprinting, like a little baby duckling.
Oh, yeah.
But you could say a baby duckling stalking you.
That's true. You know, they're stalking their mamas.
Stalking their mamas.
Stop that. I'm going to get a restraining order on you, mama duck.
Yeah. Ooh.
She was your typical know-it-all, barely left the house, so basically had zero friends that weren't online. Ouch. Okay.
Dang. Tell us what you really think.
Damn. I'm sorry.
By the way, this comes from Throwaway Advice Please. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So Ellie managed to graduate early and get into a really good college on scholarships, then got a master's degree there as well. Okay, there we go. She's in engineering, and her college is apparently one of the best ones for engineering. So straight after graduating, she was earning a crazy amount of money.
This sounds great. It sounds like she grew up.
Where are we going into the problem? I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, it feels like I'm only seeing solutions right now. Right. Like an engineer, like a good engineer.
Fix it, baby.
Fix it.
She's been rubbing this in my face ever since she got the acceptance letter. Ooh. When she got home, she was always wearing the university hoodie, always talking about what she's doing at college, sending videos of robots and crap into the family group chat.
Disgusting. How dare you be proud of your accomplishments and your school? Throw your little hoodie away. Stop bragging all the time.
Yeah. Opie might be an a-hole. I don't know, dude.
So far, all I'm seeing is some jealousy.
Now that she's earning so much, it's crap like her paying off our parents' car loans for Christmas or getting extravagant gifts for everyone.
The gall, the absolute horseradish of a person to do something so cruel, so flex-worthy. Ugh.
I'm confused, dude. This is great.
Dude, there's this guy I heard about that was like going around like giving fish to strangers and curing the blind. Total a-hole.
Dude.
Total a-hole.
Just a complete show-off. Like,
just show off. I mean, like dying for our sins. Like he owns the place. Like you know, crappy person right there.
Dude, water into wine. How about some mineral water?
How about some mineral? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I even want wine? No one asked. No one asked if I wanted wine. A-hole, you know,
shoving it in my face.
You know,
dude.
Also I'm trying to be sober more. Like honestly, you know, really, not reading the room.
Yeah, stop giving me shots, Jesus. Yeah, I'm trying to chill.
Trying to do AA right now.
Don't forget the time he, put mud on a guy's face and he could finally see for the first time.
ridiculous. You know, like I can see clearly now that you're a show off. Like,
let him figure it out on his own. For Christ's sake,
give a blind man an eye. He'll see for a day, but teach a blind man to use a stick and he'll see for a lifetime.
He'll feel around forever. Anywho, back to OP. So we had a few fights about it. Wow, but we always made up. So on to this year. I got engaged last year in February to my fiance, male 32. I asked my sister if she would pitch in, and she said she would help out. Knowing she had the money, I got to plan my dream wedding.
Yeah, she's going to cover the whole thing. I'm thinking diamonds instead of flowers.
Diamond!
ICU's in the chat.
Yeah, I was going to get a regular wedding band, but dream wedding. Rihanna. You know, I think she should perform at my wedding.
I thought you were saying wedding band like the ring, and it's like
no.
It's just like sapphires all the way around, and then
exactly.
and Rihanna.
Yeah, and Rihanna.
Shine bright like diamonds.
Oh yeah, she's the best diamond of all.
Get a bunch of diamonds. Mm-hmm. I was so excited about planning our big day with your sister's freaking money. That was all until I showed her the plans. And she pulled the rug from beneath my feet. You give a wedding plan for $1 million for someone else to pay for, and suddenly they don't want to do it.
I mean, when you steal a rug and start standing on it, don't get mad when someone's like, "That's my rug. I'm taking that back."
Exactly.
You know, you're gonna get the rug pulled out from you a lot with that kind of attitude.
Calm down, Aladdin. So she asked me how I'm paying for it. My husband and I didn't do college, so we're not high earners.
And not high thinkers either.
Oh, God. And I reminded her that she said that she would help. She's now saying that she won't help pay for it and that she will, at the absolute most, pay for my dress.
She said she'd help, not bankroll your entire wedding.
Dude,
oh, man.
OP. We are now currently at 83% the a-hole, 17% not the a-hole, but that might have been before all of this stuff that we have.
You can vote again and change your vote.
Yes, you can change your vote. I told her it's unfair of her to lie to me and only tell me after planning everything that she isn't actually going to help. Wow. She blew up at me over this, not being close in the past, and blamed me for it. It takes two people to bond, but she claims everything is my fault. We argued for a bit, and now she's not even paying for my dress. All the wedding planning I've done has been for nothing now. My parents are split, with my mom saying Ellie needs to honor her word and let me have the wedding I planned. OP is definitely her mother's daughter, my God. And we all pitch in what we can afford. Oh, my God. My stepdad is angry. I asked her in the first place and dug up some old arguments from when I was 17. So am I the a-hole for expecting her to do what she said? Ladies and gentlemen, we have some relevant comments, but we have to talk.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between I will help and I will pay for everything.
Yes.
I will help could mean anything between giving you $1 for roses and paying for the whole thing. Anywhere between $1 and paying for the whole thing is technically helping.
Yeah.
And so to assume that when someone says, I'm going to help, that means that they're going to pay for the whole wedding is absolutely ridiculous.
Insane.
I don't think OP's sister is the a-hole at all. I think OP is the a-hole entirely for being so entitled to think that their sister would pay for everything. And also, like, I'm just seeing a lot of jealousy from OP about, like, you know, wearing your school sweater is, I don't know, normal. It's a normal thing to do.
Like, I feel like her sister is literally just living her life. She's like, I mean, how cute is it and how great is it for a stepsister coming in to be like, hey, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm curious. Like, that's great. I feel like she's like, oh, she's like always following around. She's always wearing her sweater. I feel like she's just being a cool, smart, interesting person, and her sister hates her for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're cool, smart, and interesting, and you're next to someone who's not cool, smart, and interesting, that person who's not might feel a little insecure. And I think that is what is happening here.
That does happen.
Amy Lynn says OP's the bigger a-hole, but everyone's an a-hole. And Pamela SP Butterfly says they are both an a-hole.
Please explain. I'm curious because maybe there is something on, like, I mean, she said she'd pay for the dress, which has got to be up to thousands of dollars. That's enough.
Yeah.
I think that's helping.
Is pulling back from paying for the dress because of this confrontation an a-hole move?
At the end of the day, you're not entitled to other people's stuff. So I think from, like, OP, maybe, you know what, maybe isn't an a-hole, maybe it is kind of an a-hole move to withdraw that, but at the same time, I feel like OP has to recognize, you know what, like, her bank account isn't my bank account. Like, I pissed her off. Like, all right, she, you know what, she's entitled to do whatever she wants with her money and how she wants to live her life. Yeah,
I would say that if there was an a-hole move, it would be the taking away the paying for the dress from the sister, but everything else I honestly can't see what would be a-hole about sharing the fact that you like wearing your college sweater or sharing your robots that you make. That doesn't feel like, nothing that I heard felt a-hole-ish to me.
Yeah, Lucy P says if me and my partner are having a wedding, I'm assuming I'm paying for everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is different from culture to culture, but I think maybe outside of like very explicit cultural norms, like, assume you're going to be the one.
Yeah.
If you're doing something, you're responsible for it.
Boom.
Is that
boom?
Am I crazy? Am I a madman?
I
for
do
saying
not
that?
think you are a madman. I think you are a made man,
Ooh.
and you are made of good ideas because that idea was good.
Oh, gravy. Watch out or you'll get whacked, ladies and gentlemen. But we've got some relevant comments in this story as well. Taylorson WI, who says, info, was she specific about what she said she'd pay for? If I offer to take my friend out for dinner, he's kind of an a-hole if he picks a $70 to $75 plate place. She might have figured she'd be helping with stuff like hall rental and dress costs, and you decided to soak her. OP says, we didn't go over specifics since I asked her right when I started planning and realized it would have had to be very low budget without her help. I asked if she'd be able to pitch in, and she said she could. Then once I knew she was helping and had a lot of money, I planned the wedding I actually wanted.
It sounds like you didn't talk about how much she wanted to put in.
Yeah, it sounds like you had low budget wedding. Oh, I'm willing to help plan this whole thing and then I'll show it to you.
I also feel like she like it's like, oh, like engineers make a lot of money, but she might not know exactly how much her sister makes. It's like, oh, engineer must be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Get the helicopters. We're going in on white horses. We're parachuting with the horses into the wedding venue. Like, she's like planning the extravagant wedding of her dreams.
I don't have, just because I have an engineer salary doesn't mean I can drop $50,000 on your freaking wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen. She never asked me about the cost since she knew I was just starting to figure out everything. It wasn't until I went back to her with my final decisions on everything that she yanked the rug from under my feet. Gotta love the terminology there. Yeah. Spirited Tip 7370 says, you're the a-hole. You admit you are not close. Why should she pay? Another great point. They're not close.
Yeah, they're not even. And yeah, it's like a stepsister relationship that's not even close.
Yes.
That's nuts.
And remember, they became stepsisters when OP was 17 years old. They missed their entire childhood together. Yeah. Not to say they couldn't become close as adults, but that's like...
But they're not close.
They're not, they're not close. And they didn't even share a childhood. OP says, because she's earning a crap ton and we are family. The only reason she earns more than me is because she got lucky and got into a crazy expensive school on a scholarship. Yeah, she earned the scholarship.
She was smart and worked hard.
Yes. I didn't go to college, so now I should be forced into a wedding I don't want.
Oh, God. Oh, God. The I feel like the entitlement combined with the stupidity is just like a terrible combo.
Listen, OP is... For those of us who didn't go to college, OP is not giving us a good name right now with the intelligence levels going on here.
Yeah, not great. Not a great combo, man. At least she's got confidence, you know.
I love your confidence.
She's saying hold out with your chest.
Yeah, she is visualizing and manifesting millionaire status, you know.
Yes, other people's millions.
Other people's millions. Yeah.
Slightbar 534 says, you're the a-hole. Pay for your own wedding. Tacky asking her for money. She said she would help out, not pay for your dream wedding. You sound jealous of her hard work and success. OP says, I have had to work way harder than her. I've been at minimum wage since 17 trying to make ends meet. She got handed a scholarship on a silver platter and now she's set up for life. Lip Gloss Addict says, this isn't how scholarships work. This isn't how college works. Unless you were born into generational wealth, you get what you work for and earn, not what you deserve. That's true for everyone on Earth. And OP says, I should have mentioned her college. Sorry. She went to MIT. One of the hardest schools.
She went to MIT and got a full scholarship.
That is, I mean, the level of genius you have to take and the level of work. It is.
MIT is like the hardest engineering school to get into in the country.
Yes.
In the country.
Probably in the world.
Probably in the world. Like you have to get into MIT, you have to be like coding from like being like from the time you were a fetus.
Yep.
And like build $1 billion company.
Exactly.
Like it is hard to get into MIT.
God. Well, that gives us even more context of how crazy you are, OP. She went to MIT, so the job she has now was gotten through mainly connections she made while there. Like, our family isn't generationally wealthy, but she got the chance to cozy up to those people, and now she lives as one of them.
called networking.
It's called networking.
Yep. It's number 6 on the list of 2025.
Number 6 in terms of
hardest school to get into.
Oh,
like globally
UCLA on that. UCLA engineering. Look that up.
Oh, I don't think it's on the list. We got Duke. That's hard.
Let's find it. Ask chat.
Ask chat.
Then ask UC Santa Cruz. Number 4,321. That's where I went for a very short time. Your circumstances in no way entitles you to anyone else's money. Heck, offering to pay for a dress is generous given you are a stepsister who, from the sounds of it, treats her poorly. If I were her, I would never bother thinking about you ever again. OP, that's cold.
But true.
OP responds, I don't treat her poorly. When she first moved in, I admit I wasn't the kindest to her because I was 17 and she was a freaky kid.
Freaky kid. Building robots, doing homework.
OP just keeps getting better. She had skipped 2 grades and was a total know-it-all. She had no friends and used to practically stalk me, always followed me around asking to hang out with me and my friends. Literally never left me alone for 2 years till she made some online friends and glued herself to the computer. She's just smart and
she's a genius.
Yeah. I mean, what kid who's like a super genius 2 grades younger is going to be, I could totally see her having a hard time making friends. Oh my gosh. Okay, Stable 7501 says, info needed. How much brainwashing did it take to convince your fiance with the whole stepsister that I've always hated pays for my dream wedding plan? OP says, I never hated her. We just don't click well. I like talking about normal things. And she comes in talking about some science crap that's going to allegedly change the world or some interesting fact that she learned that everybody must know. She's just a bit grating. I don't hate her. We just don't mesh well. Reddit has a verdict of a-hole for the story.
Which, yeah, duh.
We're almost at the end of this specific story. We have many more in this episode, but what are we thinking right now, Sam? If you're the stepsister, what do you do? What's your course of action?
I mean, OP is so entitled. I would just I'll go low contact.
Yeah, I think we need to put OP in timeout.
Yeah, because this is like so ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the update. 4 days later. Obviously, none of you value family. Here we go. One of you felt the need to track down Ellie and send her the post. Oh
my God.
Which was unnecessary and cruel. She texted me this yesterday morning with this. Hey, someone sent me your Reddit post. I am still processing all the things you said about me. I knew you didn't care for me, and I knew you resented me when we were kids. I didn't know you were capable of denigrating my character to that extent.
Ooh, denigrating. That's the MIT freaking word right there.
Obi's probably like, stop using your stupid words at me.
Stupid big words. What does that mean?
Grading? I'm not cheese. I have never done anything but treat you like a sister. Using my real name, all of my personal information to the extent that someone could Google and track me down that easily. You know I'm a private person. What if someone else at work sees it? What if effing anyone sees it? I left a comment in anger, but I deleted it. I cannot believe you would make this so public, and I should not be stooping to your level. As for the wedding, you're on your own, and I am not paying for anything, attending, or participating in any way. I do not deserve this.
Boom. I mean, that's true.
Not
only is she smart, she knows how to set boundaries. MIT, let's go.
I want to see her. I want to hear a story from her. Like we need some good relationship.
I want to hear about her science crap.
Right? Yeah. I think it's interesting. I'm blocking your number, and I would appreciate it if you didn't try to contact me through other means. I've told Dad that if he wants to see me again, he can come visit me. Ideally, we will not see each other again. I talked to my fiance and told him through tears what Ellie had done. Even he turned on me. He started screaming at me about how I shouldn't have asked Ellie and how I didn't tell him during the planning that she was paying for it. I tried to explain to him, but he won't stop screaming at me. So just to be clear, this is back to, so now we're going back to, I think, OP's perspective and story.
Yep.
So even OP's husband didn't know that her whole plan was to go to her sister Ellie and try to make her pay for it.
Ridiculous.
He called me names, screamed at me while I was already crying, and then left. She has everyone wrapped around her finger. She's so manipulative. I don't know who I can even turn to right now because she has them all convinced she's so perfect.
Maybe it's because you're a bad person.
Oh, dude.
Not a bad person. You're just making very dumb decisions.
Yes, making the bad decisions over here. My mom is the only one I can trust right now. I'm going to stay with her for a while. By the way, you can stay with us for a while. 63 days, in fact, straight, because if you go to Apple, Spotify, iHeart Podcasts, and search OK Storytime, you can listen to 63 straight days of content. We have a huge catalog for you to binge and enjoy. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the final part, but Sam, last thoughts, closing thoughts here.
I mean, this person, OP, so entitled, very silly. I'm glad that our sister's standing her ground.
Yes. Agreed. Ellie has been ruining my life since I was 17, and now she's managed to ruin my relationship. I cannot believe you people have sided with her when all she's ever done is destroy my life. She's off in a whole other state and once again is facing no consequences for her actions. Her actions of attending MIT and being successful.
Terrible.
How dare you? I found her work email online from a thing she published and messaged her. Blowing through the boundaries.
Okay.
Gotta love it. She still hasn't responded yet, but I will let you all know when she does.
Man, the finger is everywhere but pointing at yourself.
That's where it needs to be.
That's where it needs to be.
Ladies and gentlemen. I have to ski diddly daddle.
Ski diddly daddle.
But I will pass it to my good friend Sam and Sophia, who walked in with such great timing. I love you all. See you soon. Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, Johnny Bahami. I refuse to be an uncle to my brother's child. He threatened to cut me off.
Well, that's not your kid.
We're identical twins. Growing up, we were stereotypically close like twins are. However, when he was 19, he started going out with his now wife, who was 17, and they've been together since. I get on with his wife, my sister-in-law, but she's caused a few issues in my family over the years. A clash of personality, let's say. But after a while, we started to get on. Who says get on? That's like a British thing, right? We're getting on right well.
Get on.
We're getting on.
Get on.
By the way, this comes from Deleted. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to reddit.com/OKStorytime subreddits. He's had a 15-year-old boy, a 12-year-old boy, and a 10-year-old boy. I have a 12-year-old daughter from my previous relationship who lives with me and my wife full time. We can't have kids together. So my brother has made me the guardian of his kids as he is my daughter. And I've also been close to them. Also, almost like a second dad. Our 12-year-olds were only born a day apart. So they're like siblings and spend a lot of time together. Just over a year ago, it came out his wife was having an affair. Ooh. Rough. And they separated and she got with the guy. Which is worse, having an affair and
talked about this.
Not getting with the guy, or having an affair and getting with the guy?
I think having an affair, I don't know.
Which would you choose? You can only choose one.
Getting with the guy is worse.
Getting with the guy is worse. Okay. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. My bro and his wife eventually reconciled when the guy bailed and canceled their divorce. And are now back together doing all the therapy and counseling you can name.
Oh.
Wow. That's rough.
Oh, man still said, you can come back.
Yeah.
That's all right.
A second place ain't bad. That's still get a medal. I told him I'll be civil to her because she's his missus, but I doubt I'll ever be cool with her, which he begrudgingly understands. However, what he didn't tell us when they got back together was that she was pregnant with the other man's kid. We only found out 6 weeks ago when he announced he was at the hospital with his wife having a baby. She had a little girl, and he's taking her on as his own. On the birth certificate, our surname, the works. Even named her after our late aunt who we're close to. Usually when my nephews were born, I was the first one at the hospital. However, I haven't been there at all. In my eyes, it's not my niece, just a stepchild. I think he's a sap personally, and I wouldn't do it. But there you go.
Immediately, I think you're a bit the a-hole.
OP?
Yeah.
Why?
I think that if he has accepted that child as his own, like full on adopted, this is my last name, name it out, he is full in on the parenting, that's his child. I personally, I understand that there is a difference between an adopted child and what is happening here. But in a sense, he has adopted this child, and therefore it is his child.
Yeah. I guess maybe OP is just having a little bit more issue with the fact that he took back this person that obviously
which is
didn't respect
absolutely
the
fair.
relationship.
I understand that
but
completely.
I agree that the child,
Yeah.
the not accepting child is a little rough, but let us know what you think. So about a week later, he wanted to meet up, so I obliged. He asked me where I've been and why I haven't come to see the kid. I said I've been busy and I haven't wanted to meet her. Whoa. He was so shocked and said he expected better from the uncle of his daughter. And how do I expect to be the guardian of her with that attitude? I was like, I'm not her uncle, and I'm definitely not going to be her guardian. We got into a bit of a fight and he stormed off. We haven't spoken since, but he texted me the next day and said, unless I can accept her as his and become her uncle, we'll never speak again.
I mean, I understand. I understand where he's coming from. Obviously, like, I have my own thoughts and feelings, and so does OP about him accepting his cheating wife and, like, taking her back. But
I think this is a different case.
It's just a different case.
My nephews haven't really spoken to me either. My daughter came to me last night crying, saying her cousin / my nephew was really upset that I'm basically rejecting his sister. It's really upset her, and she thinks I should. And she's always wanted a cousin who's a girl. I haven't got any words for her that'll make sense. It's causing a real family issue. My dad thinks I'm being unfair. My mom's on my side, and my wife thinks I'm being harsh, but is supporting my decision. I don't know what to do, Reddit. I love my brother to bits and miss him and my nephews, but in my eyes, she's not my family. She's his stepkid. I have nothing against her, but I don't want to be her uncle. I especially don't want to be her guardian. What should I do? We have
I think you have
some thoughts. We have some comments. And we have an update from this story that's going to come in a little bit. But Sophia, what do you think? Is OP the a-hole, and what should he do?
You just have to decide whether or not you want to have a relationship with your brother. What's more important? You sticking to your, feelings about his wife, or having a relationship with your brother and his kids?
Yeah. I mean, I think framing it as like he's adopting a child, I think puts in perspective how you should treat this child.
Exactly.
I think I understand not wanting to be chummy with his ex.
Absolutely. I would not be chummy with his ex. I get that.
Yeah, I think that is okay. But I think once he's like fully adopted this child, the child is blameless. She didn't do anything. And he's basically adopting her. So think of it as an adoption. I mean, kind of get over it.
The thing is, like, he is adopting her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, legally, he is adopting her. So, yeah, like, I think it's that thing of when parents want to control their kids so much that they're like, I'm going to disown you if you don't follow my rules.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, but you want to, like, you care about your kids so much that you're willing to let them go.
Yeah. Sometimes the people you care about most, you gotta let them free.
In this case,
no,
it's like you care about your brother so much and how wronged he was that you're willing to lose out on his life and his children's lives.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. And Jamie Photography Chick says, I feel like he's sort of the a-hole.
I think he is the a-hole, yeah.
And then Sam the Caterpillar says, even if it was a stepkid in a different regard, that's messed up to treat them like they're lesser.
Absolutely.
But we got an update. Mm-hmm. All right. After a lot of thinking, I've sent him a message saying we really need to talk. He more or less agreed straight away, and we're probably going to meet up this weekend. Basically, after some time chatting to you all and thinking a lot, I truly don't know how I feel. I won't lie and say I'd immediately go, yeah, I'll be her uncle and guardian, but I need to hear him out, what he has to say, tell him how I feel, and go from there. Edit to add, the thing that I'm absolutely most opposed to is being her guardian. Some people know it as godparent. Basically, if he and his wife were to pass away, I'd take them on and raise them. I gladly do it for my nephews as they're practically like sons to me, with us two being twins, but I couldn't raise her knowing she's not my blood.
I think that is a little bit more fair for him to be like, I don't want to be your guardian. But I think have to. Why?
Because that's like a responsibility.
That's a responsibility that like goes into like you actually are taking in a child.
However, I don't like the reasoning though.
I agree. However, I think that you should look at why do you see your nephews as sons? Is it because you're related to them, or is it because you've built a relationship with them?
And I think it's like,
probably the second.
Yeah. I don't like the focus on the blood thing either.
No, it's very hyper focused on it.
Family isn't about blood. It's about
Miss
community.
Jayward says so he'd split up the siblings. Yeah, like these kids are related. The kids are related.
Yeah.
They're half siblings.
Comment 1. Your brother has claimed this child as his daughter. That makes you her uncle, just as if she was an unrelated child he chose to adopt.
Yeah.
Don't punish this kid for her mother's indiscretions. While we can debate about the wisdom of your brother's choices, he's clearly doing the kind and loving thing. And if you love your brother, you need to accept the people he considers family. Reply. He's not punishing the kid. Kids are entitled to a safe, loving home and a rich educational environment. They are not entitled to the love of extended family members. That's sweet to have, but isn't punishing to say no thanks to the baby conceived during your sister-in-law's extramarital affair.
I disagree. Yeah, of course, we're not entitled to our extended family members' love, but also OP can't just pick and choose who he loves in this specific, like in one family unit, you know?
Well, I feel like
that, to an extent, it would, I just imagine one of our aunts or uncles being like, yeah, I'll take Sam, but I won't take Sophia.
Yeah. She doesn't look like enough like our family.
Yeah, I don't look enough like Sam.
She looks too weird.
Oh.
Comment 2. You need to take a cue from your brother. He's assigned to make this child his. He's going to raise it as his. I don't blame your brother one bit for being upset with you. You don't have to like what his wife did, but this seems like an unnecessary punishment to an innocent child. And OP responds, as I said, he made this a lot worse by hiding it all and giving us no warning, no adjustment. It's not like surprising someone with a puppy or something. It's another effing human.
But is that really any of your business?
What?
Like the affair? Is that not his kind of business?
I guess he's making it his business because he wants his brother to have boundaries up to be respected. But
no, OP's just saying he sprung it on us out of nowhere. Why didn't he tell us right when it happened? Is it your business to know about the problems in their marriage?
Yeah.
You know?
Giving us no warning. I mean, I
probably
don't think so.
gave you, probably was worried about how you would react.
Yeah. But even so, I don't even know if it, a question is, do you think it was a good idea for the brother to say
at all
that his new daughter was a product of an affair?
I think
it may have just come out anyway, but
yeah, I think it probably would have come out. I don't know if he you guys might disagree. I don't know if he necessarily had to tell anyone. I think he would have been totally within his rights to keep that kind of to himself.
It kind of protects the daughter as well.
Yeah.
From stuff like this.
I'm not sure what his reasoning in telling. Maybe he just wanted to be honest. I don't know.
It's not like a puppy you're expected to embrace with no warning, but there is an update. Basically, I met up with my twin yesterday and we had it out. I called him out on the way he has handled it all, saying it's effed up. He kept me in the dark the way he told me, tagging me in an Instagram post with his new child was an utter shock. I had no time to process it, and then he basically gives me an ultimatum and cuts me off. It's not right. He defended himself by saying, if he told me he was taking her back and taking the child on, I'd probably try to talk him out of it. And he was that vulnerable. He would have listened to me. He said he could see how happy his kids were having a baby brother or sister, and it was the happiest his wife's been in years. So he went along with it for their sake. I said, yeah, I probably would have tried, but ultimately, if he insisted he wanted to do it, I'd support him and would have been a lot more accepting of playing the uncle role. He said he sees where I'm coming from because he feels the same way now that the emotion of her being born has passed away down.
Has gone down.
He's really struggling to bond. He said he loves her, but more because she's a baby and he doesn't feel that bond that he did with the boys. And he's worried it's starting to show. He's pretending to sleep at night when she cries, so his ex gets up to feed her, and he was always up with his boys letting her sleep. He said the times he does feed her, he just sits there and stares. He said he'll also purposely take a long time to go and get shopping and food and just sit there in his car having a cry.
Which is, again, this is now a totally separate issue where this guy has taken on the role of a father that he wasn't, emotionally ready for.
He wasn't emotionally ready for, and I think he feels now the
realization, she
hurt.
cheated on me and had a child with someone else.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, a different issue than OP accepting the kid as an uncle, figure.
He's really depressed and thinks he should get time off work, but knows he can't as the family won't cope with him being out of work. Honestly, that effed me up. He cried. I effing cried too. I feel so bad he's suffering that way, and I now get why he acted the way he did to me. He was trying to convey how happy he is with it all. Now, we never cry. Growing up, our mom hated us crying and told us off if we did. Her attitude was that my dad doesn't cry, and we shouldn't either. By the way, you should never cry because we have full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. Sophia, what do you think where we're landing?
Well, I think if we could take this whole situation back and brother comes to OP and says, hey, my ex now married wife again had a baby with another guy. I'm going to adopt the baby and raise it as my own. I want you to be the uncle and also godparent. Then I think OP could have said something along the lines of, I, of course, will support you, but I want to make sure that you're ready for this. Like, you don't have to take in this child. You don't bear that responsibility.
Yeah, that would have been...
probably,
that would have been sage wisdom. Like, I'm going to support you, whatever you do, but let's just think about this.
Yeah, this is a big responsibility. This kid is not, was conceived through an affair. You were betrayed. You don't owe your wife this role.
You don't even owe the kid this.
No, this is angel move. And then after that, still emphasizing that you're going to be there to support if he makes that decision, but also telling him, what could come out of it. That would be, if you could go back in time, that would probably be the best way to go about it.
Yeah, but I still think you can.
But now that we're here, I think you go to him and you say, hey, I'm going to support you. You've made a decision. He's already on the freaking birth certificate.
But he could, if there is
give up parental
known, if there is knowledge of infidelity, you could take your name off.
However, he knew about it before he put his name on it.
Yeah, but
so
maybe
I don't know how that works.
He could just he didn't really know about it.
He didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know what his what he can do in terms of legally with the child, but I think that he absolutely needs therapy. And I think that right now, I don't think you can necessarily tell him what to do, but I think you can offer support as a brother.
Agreed. But we got a little bit more to the story. So after we had our moment, I said I'll meet her, but not yet. I'll probably do it next weekend. He'll come over with the kids so my daughter can meet her too. I said I can't promise I'll be her guardian yet. I need to feel that bond I have with his boys, which he said he gets, but hates the thought that I could take them in but turn her away.
Yeah.
So, as a compromise, my wife's agreed to be her guardian for now so they wouldn't be split up, which works for us until I decide. And some comments. Comment 1, poor brother, I think his body and mind are sending him a lot of messages that he's not listening to. If getting back with her is making him so miserable and depressed, as most people would, he shouldn't be with her. And OP says, for real, every time he looks at the baby, his mind, heart, body, and spirit are probably just like, ugh, oof, ick, ooh. And he just blocks it out and stares at her, and then spends part of every day crying in secret. Yeah, I'm going to guess that this isn't going to work out, and he isn't going to be a good dad to this kid if he tries to stick it out. A child of an affair is, sadly, in addition to simply being a child, a constant reminder to the betrayed spouse of the marital indiscretion.
Sam the Caterpillar says his family not accepting the kid or his choice to take it on probably isn't helping with the bonding. Probably not.
Comment 2, you need to have another serious talk with your brother. Tell him to go get therapy now to figure out if he will ever really be able to bond with this baby. Because if he can't, it will show no matter how much he tries to fake it. She will feel it, his sons will feel it, and it will F up all the kids. So he needs to figure out that crap ASAP. So if he can't feel for her what he feels for his sons, he can leave before she's attached and aware. Seriously, if he convinces himself he can force it out or fake it and stays, he will massively F up all 3 kids permanently. And another reply, but most importantly, he also needs to know this isn't his fault. He didn't ask for the situation. He has had it forced upon him and has tried to do the right thing by everyone but himself. and totally at his own expense emotionally, financially, and physically. He needs to know if he wants to throw the hat in, he didn't create the situation. So it's basically like, hey, you can end this for yourself if you want.
Yeah, but I think it's like not a thing. Like it's a thing that the longer he holds off on, the worse it's gonna get.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's just gonna get more attached. The baby's gonna get more attached, or he's gonna be more cemented in. It is not a good
well, if
situation.
he gets more attached, then that's a better situation.
Yeah, but like I mean, in terms of more attached without more physically or like economically attached without necessarily the emotional attachment needed to take care of this baby well.
Agreed.
Oh boy. But we got another story.
Sure do.
Because that's where that one ends.
Mm-hmm. I set boundaries with my husband's cousin's wife. It turned everyone against me.
Oh no. Cousin wife.
Jane, the person we are trying to distance ourselves from. Bill, her husband.
Okay.
Those are the characters in this story.
Let's hear this story. I'm
Long
locked in.
Story. Me and my husband used to be friends with his cousin and his wife. We usually get along, but over the years, they have become more pushy and mean.
Oh.
Jane constantly wants us to hang out with her, and whenever we say no, she gets upset and will be like, I saw you hanging out at so-and-so's house. Why can't you hang out with us?
Oh, why can't you invite me?
Pick me energy. Come on, get out of here.
By the way, this comes from Whispers of Disease, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, she got upset that my daughter has a best friend that isn't her son.
Ooh.
She got upset because I didn't want to hang out during the lockdown.
Ooh.
She also would randomly just decide to show up at my house when I would ignore her messages.
Ooh. Big oof.
She also has family that live in my neighborhood, and I would get a snarky, I see you had fun outside today. You should tell me when you're going for a walk so I can come.
Why don't you, I don't know, do your own things?
Yeah, why don't you have your own life?
Yeah, maybe what you can do, if all right, a little advice. If people aren't inviting you to things, create things and invite other people.
Yes, that is the advice that we have taken.
Yep.
And implemented. And you know what? It's working.
It's working.
Now we have a friend group. What?
Boom.
But every time I am around Jane, she either ignores me, puts me down, or tries to shame me for not having as much stuff as her.
Yeah.
The final straw was my child's birthday party. My husband wasn't able to be at the party because of work, so I didn't have his backup. Jane let her male child be pushy towards my daughter's best friend. Jane's son was interested in my daughter's bestie. So Jane encouraged her son to call her his girlfriend.
That's not how that works.
Stop.
You got to ask first.
Jane and Bill also called my daughter selfish because she got upset when her son kept taking her birthday gifts away from her. Jane also loudly bragged about her 2 natural births while not so discreetly throwing shade at me because my daughter was born by C-section. Well, joke's on you, frickin' Jane, because your kids can't kill Macbeth. You don't know?
Oh, because it was like...
You don't know the plot of the Scottish play?
I mean, it's been so long.
Get a load of this guy.
They had C-section back then?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I have PTSD diagnosed by a professional. I felt like Jane and Bill spent the whole time my husband was at work trying to make the party miserable for me and my daughter. I did tell them to leave my daughter alone and to not parent my kid, but they just acted like I didn't say anything. So naturally, my husband and I figured we'd just let the friendship slowly pass away. Jane, however, is persistent. She showed up at our house unannounced on Mother's Day to give me a gift. She originally wanted to buy me a custom ring, but I refused to tell her my ring size. And I firmly told her I did not want her spending money on me.
I think
she's trying to buy your friendship.
Yeah, she's trying to buy the friendship. And
that's
then
the only
like,
way
I
that
feel
she,
so bad that she bought me an expensive ring. Now I have to spend time with her.
I think she's probably bringing up all of these money things because she wants you to think that she's this cool, person with a lot of money and wealth and stuff.
Money.
Because that's how she thinks you get friends.
Mm-hmm.
I also told her
Yikes.
repeatedly not to show up at her house unless she's invited or asked to come over first. At this point, I have stopped responding to any of Jane's messages. We hung out at my husband's grandma's house with another cousin and his wife and kid. Basically, everyone that was there got an angry message from Jane or Bill because they weren't invited. Basically, everyone that was there has been treated badly by Bill and Jane. They also showed up to the house the next day uninvited and basically complained about us not inviting them the previous day. You gotta get a hint.
Are so annoying.
The thing is, when someone doesn't invite you to things, you can't be like,
invite me. You can't be invite me.
You can't just say, oh, invite me. Why didn't you invite me? Invite me. Unless you have like a really great relationship with them.
Yeah.
And you like have no idea why they wouldn't.
And they might just say, I don't like you enough to invite you.
Yeah.
And
sometimes,
you know what? That kind of sucks to hear, but
yeah.
That's the truth, that not everyone gels.
It's like maybe an easier way to look at it is if you have a crush on someone and they just have shown no interest in you and you keep chasing them and chasing them and chasing them. Just embarrassing.
Yeah. But what if you've like talked like, oh, like, you know, I have a little bit of interest, but like no one's, you know, made a move yet.
That's okay then. I got a message from Jane that said, we saw you at grandma-in-law's, but she used her first name. What time works for you guys to come over tomorrow?
No time.
No time. But hey, they're employing the next phase of making friends, creating their own events.
That's true.
At least they're inviting people to their place instead of being like, why didn't you invite me to my place?
Her son's name misses you guys a lot, and he won't stop crying because you didn't invite him yesterday.
Stop making me feel bad.
Stop telling him. Jane only knew that we were there because she has her friends stalk the other cousin's wife's social media. Today, I caught Jane's cousin walking by my house slowly while trying to look into the windows of my house. I made eye contact with her and she power walked away. At least I know who's watching me now. It's hard for me right now because I can't exist in my own house and neighborhood without fear of being watched, and for Jane showing up in my neighborhood and its park. Jane has always used the excuse, well, I really like this neighborhood and I have a family close by, whenever she randomly shows up at my house or when I see her walking around my neighborhood. Not obvious at all. I'm so close to having a nervous breakdown. Whenever I think too hard about this, I have really bad panic attacks. The last time we confronted Jane and Bill on their behavior, they went and said really mean and hurtful things to everyone in the family that me and my husband are close with. I don't want to move. I really love my neighborhood and my neighbors, minus Jane's cousin. Edit to add an update. I ordered security cameras for my house so I can prove to myself that people are looking in through my windows. I also told myself if I get another I know/saw you were at so-and-so's house message, me and my husband are just going to ask Jane how she knew we were there. Who told you that, Jane? I have also advised my family to block Jane on social media. Because the last time I blocked Jane.
You need Jane is like just working her little tendrils into every part of OP's life. You need to put up boundaries, and then everyone else needs to put up boundaries because
that's how she's getting all of her information.
Yeah, dude, she has her little birdies everywhere.
Because the last time I blocked Jane, she contacted my family to ask why I blocked her. I don't think it's necessary to get a restraining order yet, and I know Jane would just lie and say she was concerned about us. And there is an update, folks. Any other thoughts, though, Sam?
I mean, I think putting as much space between you and Jane as possible is going to be the move. Because a person like Jane is not a person that gets hints.
No, clearly not. Clearly not.
Which also maybe you have to be a little bit more direct with Jane about the fact that you don't want to spend time with her.
Yeah, you just say, hey, I don't like you.
Yeah. And that kind of sucks, but is necessary.
Yeah.
I think we gotta go direct to the source. Sorry, I don't like you and I don't want to spend time with you.
That is tough.
It is tough.
It's
called a hard truth.
You need to do that?
Yeah. But the thing is that I need to do it to a lesser extent.
Who?
Like it's not, no, I'm not going to tell you. Because I don't want that to go anywhere. I'm just saying, I just need to do it on, I don't want to do solo hangouts. I'll tell you later. But, it's hard to say, I don't want to hang out with you one-on-one.
Try to read her like a book.
I once told someone that they were a friend group friend.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And it went so terribly.
Yeah, I don't think I could say that. I think that is a really harsh thing to say.
It was too harsh. Yeah. I think it's
a really hard thing to say.
And I made an enemy for a lifetime. That person does not like me at all.
The problem is some people, when you ask to hang out, they show you, I've had people where I try to hang out with them. They always cancel. They, never made time. So I was like, okay, this person doesn't want to hang out with her.
Yeah.
But then there's some people who you do that to and they don't get the hint. Jane is one of them. How do you set boundaries with the person who does not get hints? You know, it's like without being really mean. And that's OP's problem right now.
You just say, I can't. Oh, yeah. Well, that one is like, how one's, I think you don't, I think you don't have to set those kind of boundaries unless it's gotten to this kind of level.
Yeah, sure.
If it's just like, oh, do you have time to hang out? Or like, I'm busy.
You just keep doing that forever.
And then you invite them to friend group things.
Yeah.
And you just keep saying you're busy.
I could do
forever.
that, yes.
And like, you'll eventually, maybe someday at one point,
get the hint.
Catch a hint.
That I just, can't hang out with them one-on-one.
Can't, you just don't have time. You don't have time.
I don't have time. The thing is, like, it's
There's
like,
other people I want to hang out with.
Yeah. I have very limited hours.
Yeah, and you're a very popular person.
And I have a lot of friends.
So many friends. Too many friends.
Too many hours.
Yeah,
so little time.
There's only and you gotta take up the best spots. Like Ian, Chris, top tier. Top tier.
Update. Last week I got a call and my caller ID said private number.
Oh.
I've never seen that before and I was curious because I just put a thing on my phone to block robocalls, so I answered. It was Jane and her son. I hung up as soon as I recognized their voices. They called back and her son left a voicemail saying he missed me and my daughter and he wanted to see us soon. I was really upset that I had hurt their son's feelings. He's only 3 and he doesn't understand what's going on. You didn't hurt her son's feelings. He's 3. He doesn't know what's going on. She hurt her son's feelings.
He is barely conscious.
This is what happened. It's not that, he was like, Mommy, why does OP never invite us to things? I'm upset about this. Jane went to her son and said, Your aunt your cousin never invites you to anything and she hates you.
Yeah.
She thinks you're the worst.
That 3-year-old has no idea.
Yeah. Yesterday, I was having a panic attack in my car and then a very familiar car pulled into my driveway. It was Jane and Bill. I just started the car and drove away. My husband was home with my daughter and he let them inside. Why? My husband was asked what was wrong with me, and he told them I was just having a moment. When I asked my husband why, he didn't just say I was running an errand. He just told me he wasn't lying to cover for me.
Okay, red flag, husband.
My husband said they were on their best behavior, but I am pissed that they once again showed up at the house unannounced. My husband said Bill said they would leave if it was a bad time. Yeah.
It is a bad time.
You showed up unannounced.
It's always a bad time when you're here.
We don't want you here. I was having a major panic attack and I had a mental breakdown, but my husband told me I'm overreacting. Red flag. He's upset with them, but he's more willing to forgive. I made it clear to my husband that I don't want Jane and Bill to continue to show up without warning. I asked my husband to tell them not to show up without warning again. My husband told me that he doesn't want Jane and Bill back in our lives like they were before, but he's okay with visiting with them as long as it's on our terms. They don't care about your terms. They're going to show.
They've mowed straight over any terms you've tried to create.
He's hopeful that Jane and Bill learn their lesson. In what way would they have possibly learned their lesson? You let them inside.
They've gotten what they've wanted.
They're like vampires.
Yeah, you've already let them in. You invited them inside. I'm not so hopeful, on the other hand. I don't know if I'm wrong in feeling slightly betrayed by my husband. I think you're right.
No, you are all left.
He and Bill are really close, and Jane won't let Bill visit with anyone unless she's there. I'm afraid my husband will want me to reconcile, but I don't want to go through another cycle of Jane mistreating me and then gaslighting me when I get upset. There is a second update.
Oh, folks. My God. Exhausting. Bill and Jane
are the worst.
They're like little cockroaches, like social cockroaches that just keep popping up and popping up.
Kimberly Fine says, to them, those times just look like really round holes they're going to shove their square pegs into anyway. Yes.
True.
Yeah, it's true. Nina Nielsen, I would seriously consider divorce because husband doesn't care about OP's well-being on our terms. You let them, and she had to leave her own driveway. I don't know if we're in divorce territory yet, but I do think we're in like therapy territory.
It is a red flag. It is a red flag.
A huge red flag.
If this is indicative of larger things in the relationship, then I think it's probably a bad idea.
I agree. Yes. Because he's totally not listening to you, and he literally told you that you're overreacting.
Yeah.
When you had a panic attack. But there is an update.
Let's get this update.
My in-laws, 66 female and 43 female, are pressuring me, 29 female, to reconcile with another family member, 23 female, 26 male, that has treated me horribly in the past. I feel like I'm tearing the family apart. So I posted about these people that have treated me horribly, codename Bill and Jane. If you want the whole story, you can see the other post. The TLDR is that they don't respect my boundaries, tried to convince my husband I was crazy, and worst of all, they tried to ruin my child's birthday by calling her names and trying to set off my PTSD. I cut all contact, but they have randomly shown up my house sometimes with stuff for my daughter, and they have called my phone from a private number after I blocked them. So Canadian Thanksgiving was last weekend. I am really close to my grandma-in-law. She was going to host a Thanksgiving dinner at her house. We talked about it for weeks, and I was excited to go. A week before, grandma-in-law texted me, "Hey, Bill found out about Thanksgiving, and since you can't get along, you should probably not come."
What? Why can't Bill not come?
I'm sorry. No
way, Jose.
You have to honor who you invited first. It's not whoever was not invited second.
I don't like this.
So before Thanksgiving, my husband got a message like, "I wish you guys could just put all this behind you so you could come." My husband had work that day and I stayed home. The day after, my husband was basically told by his grandma that we should come over and visit. This visit was going well until grandma-in-law and my husband's aunt started guilt-tripping us about not coming to Thanksgiving. They said it was sad because my husband and Bill were so close in the past, and it was heavily implied that I was keeping them apart. At one point, grandmother-in-law said to me, "I really don't understand why you can't just suck it up." But then she corrected herself and said something like, "I understand you don't want to be treated horribly, and I just wish the family could get along." Do you?
I mean,
do you understand? You just said it. You just said, "I understand why you don't want to be treated horribly."
yeah, but what it sounds like is like, "Oh, I understand you broke your leg, but I still want you to run the marathon." It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
I
you
get
then
that
you
you
don't
broke your
understand
leg.
that I
You
broke
don't.
my leg.
You don't understand what that entails.
Yeah.
I ended up excusing myself to go to the bathroom to cry. Grandmother-in-law is aware of all the negative behavior that has been going on. I've always been close to her, and I feel kind of hurt by what she said, rightfully so. Since my last post, they have shown up at our house again when we were not home to drop off a coloring book for my child. I drove past Jane one time, and when she saw me, she gave me the middle finger. Bill and Jane also followed me into a local event and tried to sit next to me and tried getting my child's attention. But I got up and moved away from them. They had a stroller, so I just sat somewhere that was not accessible to them.
Bill and Jane are the most persistent
Stalkers.
people ever.
They're freaking stalking
yeah,
her.
they're literally stalking.
I also feel guilty for not really explaining to Bill and Jane why I cut contact. They always start an argument every time I decide to stand up for myself. I feel like this is going to affect my relationship with grandmother-in-law in the future as well. I've done my best to explain to grandmother-in-law why I can't be around Bill and Jane. I don't know what to do moving forward. I want to be able to spend time with grandmother-in-law without being guilt-tripped about it by Bill and Jane. I also am afraid that Bill and Jane will eventually turn the whole family against me. And there is a third and final update.
Oh, boy.
I think they've already succeeded in turning the family against you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
your grandmother, who you said you were the closest to, is already on their side.
well, I think it's more like, here, this is my theory. My theory is the entire family realizes how crazy Bill and Jane are.
Yeah.
And OP is a little bit more rational. And so having the more rational person make allowances for the crazy people might create more smoothness in the family dynamic. So it's like, I'm going to ask the person who can change the behavior too, rather than the person who's crazy and can't change the behavior.
Sure.
You know?
I think that's what the grandmother's saying.
I think
She's
that's
like,
what
you
the
should just deal with it.
But it's like, but you're not the one who has to deal with it. How
Yeah.
about protect me from this
Yeah.
craziness? Donna Granger says restraining order is on the way. We're getting some fast food. We're getting some Amazon Prime delivery. Toki says divorce the whole family. We're nearing that point.
Update 3.
Update 3. Hit me with it.
I'd like to think that me and my husband have achieved victory here. Okay.
Let's go. Hopefully, good update. Let's see.
Bill and Jane have left me the heck alone, and Jane is ignoring my husband whenever she sees him in public. A win is a win. But you know what else is a win?
What's a win? Fia, onomatopoeia.
Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. That's a win if I've ever heard of it.
Darn tootin', Vlad Putin.
But there is a little bit left to the story, and I think we've already discussed. So let's finish her off. Bill will talk to my husband and have friendly conversations with him. The last time I saw Jane, we were both driving and she gave me the middle finger, so I'd like to think they hate us now and will hopefully leave us the heck alone. They're still crap talking us to other family members, but it's like everyone in the whole family understands why we cut contact with them. Jane is now telling people that she was emotionally mistreated by me and that I am an unfit mother and I am ruining my child's development. I'm just so happy the phone calls have stopped and they have stopped showing up at my house. And that's the end of that story.
All right. Well, it seems like it was somewhat resolved.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well,
that's, I'll take it, man. I'll take it.
For how long?
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
But
I think
folks,
that's where that episode ends.
Yes.
So, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.